Planet Dolan.
From pretending to be a vampire to inventing an elaborate fake relationship, the Planet Dolan crew reenacts some of the best true stories from our subreddit about the silliest lies we told. I'm Pringle the One, and today I'll be your narrator. Number 10 was submitted by DoopiesDaBest. One time, Dolan went to school camp in a town called Coloma. Being the sneaky boy he was, Dolan snuck his Nintendo DS into his bag, even though they were forbidden. At dinner time, Dolan asked the camp supervisor if he could be excused to use the restroom. He then sat on the toilet, pulled out his DS, and started playing a quick round of his Transformers game. He had so much fun that he completely lost track of time and didn't come back to the dining hall until half an hour later. The camp supervisor asked Dolan why he took so long. Dolan had to think quickly, so he lied and told him that he had diarrhea from eating the camp's undercooked food. The supervisor took this very seriously and made everyone stop eating. Dolan's whole class had to have medical tests to make sure there weren't any stomach viruses going around. No other diarrhea cases were found, but the camp still decided to give the school a discount to avoid getting a lawsuit. In the end, Dolan's lie saved the school money and allowed him to play video games. Sounds like a win-win. He's pretty terrible though. Number 9 was submitted by Secretlifeoftalyn. When Ramona was little, the kids at school used to tease her because her canine teeth were bigger than average. One day, the most gullible kid in school sat next to Ramona and asked her what if she was a vampire. Ramona decided it would be fun to mess with him, so she smiled really wide and said, "You bet I am." She then showed him her fangs and said, "Your blood smells like it's type O+. That's my favorite." The kid's face went pale. His lips was quivering when he asked Ramona how she was walking around when the sun was up. Ramona did the most evil laugh possible and told him that sunscreen makes vampires immune to sunlight. The kid was terrified of her for the rest of the year. Number 8 was submitted by Dovewingisagodess. When Tulip was in the 3rd grade, he was really into Pokemon. He was always trying to get his friends into them, but they just weren't interested. That is, until one day when he told his gullible friend that he had a real-life Pokemon at home. He told him his pet Gengar lived in the basement and ate gummy worms every day. The Gengar was very loyal and would attack any intruders that came near Tulip's house. Tulip's friend believed this for years, even though he could have easily debunked it by asking an adult or going online. Tulip eventually came clean after a while, and the friend was understandably upset about being lied to. But the good thing was, Tulip's lie got his friend interested in Pokemon, and he's now a fan for life. Number 7 was submitted by Angel515116925. Wow, could you add more numbers in your name? When Melissa was little, she made everyone in her grade believe she was the Prime Minister's daughter. She was able to get away with this because she and the Prime Minister had the same last name. But in truth, this was nothing more than a coincidence. Melissa always got driven to school in a squad car. This was because her dad was a policeman, but the kids at school assumed she was getting a police escort because she was famous. Melissa's class treated her like royalty for a whole year. That is, until she eventually got busted when her real non-Prime Minister dad came in for the parent-teacher day. Number 6 was submitted by WhiteRabbitWeirdo. One time in middle school, Dean and Derek went to a party at a mutual friend's church. They'd never been there before, so they decided it would be funny to tell everyone they met that they were twins. One by one, they convinced everyone at the party, even though they didn't look anything alike. When their mutual friend heard about their trick, he publicly exposed them as liars. Even though they were caught out, Derek and Dean kept insisting they were telling the truth, and they eventually convinced everyone that their friend was the one who was lying. The whole thing ended up damaging their friendship, but one thing you could definitely say is when Dean and Derek make up a silly lie, they commit. Number 5 was submitted by Flamethrower21. One time, Civil Spider had an assignment for his marketing class. He was about to submit it on the morning it was due when he suddenly noticed the assignment sheet was actually double-sided. He hadn't realized this, so he had only done half of the assignment. He started freaking out, but then an awesome idea came to him. He went to the copy machine, made a one-sided copy of the assignment sheet, and then submitted the half-finished assignment. When he got his grades back, Silver Spider went to the teacher with his one-sided instruction sheet. He managed to convince her that he only received half of the instructions. She believed him and allowed him to redo it from scratch. He ended up getting an A+ for the assignment and an A+ for lying. Number 4 was submitted by xxduchessxx. When Doopie was in high school, she had trouble fitting in. One day she dreamt she had a really good-looking boyfriend and told one of the girls in the class about him. The girl misunderstood Doopie and thought she was talking about a real boyfriend from another school. Doopie decided to go along with this lie as it made her seem cooler. She carried this lie on for a year and it really helped her make new friends. But after a while, Doopie got stressed out keeping up her elaborate lie. She had to Photoshop a boy into all her photos, send flowers to herself at school, and manage multiple fake social media accounts just to keep it up. Eventually, she decided to end the lie and break up with her fake boyfriend. Luckily, her new friends were very supportive. They gave her lots of gifts and attention to help her get over him. Number 3 was submitted by Dolan. This one's good though. Out of all the names, I think this is the best one. Dolansdeeznuts! When Gergak was a freshman, his school did a fundraiser event called National Fake Injury Day. All the students came in wearing crutches, bandages, and bloody makeup. Gergak wore a wrist and knee brace, which were so uncomfortable they made him walk funny. When he got to homeroom, the other kids saw him limping and asked what happened. Gergak made up a silly lie about how he fell off his bike while riding on some black ice. He didn't expect anyone to believe it, but everyone bought it. He later found out that everyone was posting about him on Snapchat. They were saying things like, "I hope poor Gergak gets better," and "1 like equals 1 prayer." They were so concerned that they even started a GoFundMe page for him. The GoFundMe campaign ended up going viral across the school and earned Gergak hundreds of dollars. He eventually felt so bad that he admitted it was just a prank, but even after admitting he was a fraud, the donations still kept coming in. He ended up earning $500, even though he never intended to scam anyone. Number 2 was submitted by Unhinged-gambit. In high school, Helvin had a very hot and very distracting teacher. Every lesson he'd stare at her until he gave himself a boner. One time he got so turned on that he put his hands in his pocket and started secretly jacking off under the desk. At the end of the class, his teacher called him over and said, "I know what you're doing. Go to the principal's office and explain yourself." When he got there, he told his principal it was all a big misunderstanding and that he'd been squeezing a stress ball in his pocket. The principal asked him to show her the stress ball, and Helvin said he dropped it in the hallway on the way to her office. By some miracle, she believed it, and Helvin got away with it. From that day on, he stuck to jerking it in the bathroom, just to be safe. Number 1 was submitted by Coffee Baron 63. Slapped Ham has always really liked eating. One time when he was in kindergarten, he gobbled up his lunch in record time and asked his teacher if he could have a second pudding cup. The teacher told him no, so Slapped Ham started complaining that he was starving. He told her he had gone days without eating dinner because his family was too poor to afford food or a refrigerator. But the truth was that he was just greedy. The teacher felt so bad for him that she caved and gave him a second pudding cup. But Slapped Ham didn't realize that she also made a report to Child Protective Services. A few days later, Slapped Ham's parents got a visit from a very angry social worker. His lie was exposed and Slapped Ham's parents were very mad at him. Huge thanks for the folks over on our Planet Dolan subreddit for submitting their stories. We have another question for you. What was the most embarrassing mistake you've ever made? Let us know in the Reddit page link below and you might be featured in a future countdown. This video was made possible by our fans over on Patreon. Thanks for your support, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Take care, everybody. Peace.